Sasha and I are here tonight for another Thrive Talks workshop. We are so pumped to be sharing this one because we see a ton of people struggle over the holidays with food, fitness, just like taking care of you. And tonight we're going to make sure that you have the tools to actually do that without doing all of the things. And before we jump in that, let's just talk about why we're here and like what Thrive is. So these sessions are kind of little mini tasters of our bigger program, Thrive After 35, which is a food, fitness, and health program for women looking to get leaner, stronger, more energized without the overwhelm after 35. So if you're in your late 30s, your 40s, and just ready to feel better, this is what we're here for tonight.
And I'm actually very proud of us because we're doing this before December 1st. So I feel like it's the equivalent of sending out holiday cards before December. Like we are on it this year.
Absolutely, we are on it.
So who are we anyway? My name is Sasha and I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I have been a strength and conditioning coach for the last 20 years. And this is my bestie and also best colleague, coworker, best friend to partner with on work stuff,
Oh,
Michelle Shepherd, and she is a registered dietitian who has her own business called West Coast Nutrition. Yeah.
thanks.
Okay, so we are going to be, like Michelle said, using the Fuel, Train, and Recover framework that we are basing Thrive off of. And so we're going to walk you through the 5 most impactful shifts that are going to keep you on track with your goals and also feeling good in your skin this December instead of stressing about like what to do and trying to do all of the things.
And I'm going to kick us off. So the first one, it's not going to be your favorite, but don't worry, I'm not taking anything away. And that is the naked carbs are coming for you. So what I typically see is people start stressing about like all of the dinners and they're going out and like there's going to be stuffing. But when I look at clients' food journals and both how they feel during the week, because I message with clients back and forth, it's not so much those few big events as the frequency of those naked carbs, like a gingerbread here, a couple of cookies on your way through the office, a little something something at night because you got gifted the chocolates and now you're sitting on the couch. Those naked carbs,
How did you know?
I'm in everyone. And so those naked carbs, so whether they're sweet or savory, so any of the kind of like cookies, carby things, starchy stuff, are going to bring blood sugar and insulin up really quickly, which makes you hungrier, more insulin resistant. You're going to have trouble burning fat for energy. And it's also going to cause that crash. So driving up cravings, lowering impulse control, and that like just energy slump that we're already struggling with. Because if you're here in BC with us, it's cold and dark. And for our East Coast friends, it's cold for us. Okay, we're babies, let us. And so what we see is that like my clients are pretty mindful, right? Like they're not eating like huge bags of chips. They're not eating everything and gorging on stuff that gets put on them. But those sneaky naked carbs is the accumulation of all the stuff during the day. So what we want to do is pair those off. If you're going to have them with a protein or a fat. Something's going to slow that rise in blood sugar and insulin so that we're not getting that big spike and crash. So you're not going to be as hungry. You're not going to get those persistent cravings later. And we're not going to drive into that insulin resistance, which is what really slows down fat loss and leaves you hungrier during the day. So if you have a sweet tooth, pairing it with like, dinner or lunch or like having with a meal instead, or if you love a snack, just make sure you're adding like a turkey pepperoni or a baby bell, just something with it. And some of the ways my clients have done this lately is just a bit of structure, right? So one of them is no treats at work because she works in a healthcare office and there is so much stuff. And so if she sees something, she really wants it, she'll like wrap it up, put it in her bag so it's out of sight and take it home and have it with dinner. And another client last week was like only with a planned meal. So she's more of like a lunch girl. And so like she can bring it with her, she can have it, but it just keeps her from kind of picking like all day, every day so that she actually enjoys it. And she's not getting those constant little bumps that just completely drive you off track with your goals over December.
I am up next. So kind of I'm similar but not similar. We're gonna ride that weather train is missed workouts. Like it is cold, it's wet here, it's snowy some other parts. I don't know how you live there.
No. And Sasha and I are
And
both from the East originally, but we are soft.
we're babies, we're
Yeah.
babies, yeah. And so for myriad of reasons, it gets harder to kind of get those sessions in. And I think the big thing with this one is getting really intentional about what you need. So what is that minimum effective dose for you? And for our like 35 plus ladies who are looking to like maintain that muscle mass, for all of the reasons that we want to have those muscles to protect us, is going to be like a minimum of 2 strength sessions per week, right? So that's going to be our sweet spot. So just kind of knowing that heading into the holiday season. And if you are getting more than two, that's amazing. But on those weeks where it is like the worst week in terms of like your calendar is packed, like you have kids events, you have to pick things up, you have to run this thing here, you have this appointment here, like two. That is where it's at, two. And if you get those two, we are maintaining all of the hard work that you have been doing. So one of the things that I like to use with the clients that I work with as a strategy is actually very simple. Like it is stupid simple, but it works. So literally plan 3. Like, so on your busiest weeks, if you're looking ahead and you're like, I just don't know how I'm going to make this happen, I want you just to look at it and I want you to plan 3 workouts. If you get those 3 workouts, that's amazing. But really, what we're looking at is one of those can just kind of go sideways because you have the other 2 there. So you're just going to plan for that extra one right off the hop. And that's how we're going to get it in. And that's how you're going to get those minimum 2 workouts a week.
I love that. And I think that just the acknowledgement at this stage of our lives, whether you have kids or pets or businesses or a job or just like people to care for, like shit happens. And so that planning
Yeah.
for something to go awry is actually very wise. I think so often when our clients or us get off track, it's because we like really needed everything to go perfectly. And that is just not the weeks we get after 40. And I think Sasha and I can both attest to that. The last 2 weeks, especially, we're with you, like in the trenches. So that like just playing extra was such a smart one. And I always forget that one. So thank
Because it's
you.
stupid simple. It's so simple that it seems so silly. Yeah.
And like I love to overcomplicate things. I think half the
Same.
reason I am good at the coaching of this stuff is because I've tried it all, right? I have done the things as his Sasha. And so we are here to just be like, let us be the lab rats. Do not do it all. Uh,
Yeah.
and my next one is thinking about similar to those naked carbs and that frequency is alcohol. And to be clear, I love wine. It's my favorite treat food group. I'm not cutting it out unless it doesn't feel good for you. The frequency often goes up in the holidays because we've got like a work thing and we have like wine with lunch, at Paleotti's in Abbotsford on a Wednesday, and we've got a work dinner with your husband on a Thursday, and then we want Bailey's and hot chocolate on a Sunday because you're at a Christmas tree thing. And so it's just that little bit, right? Like you're not out there binge drinking every night because none of us survive that next morning anymore. But the trouble with the frequency, even if it fits your calories, is that alcohol slows down fat oxidation, so ability to burn fat for energy, which means that whole next day, kind of 12 to 24 hours, you're going to burn less fat, right? And so you're going to be typically moving less, you're going to be a bit hungrier. All of that stuff gets in the way of just maintaining that leanness over the holidays. The other part is you've probably noticed that you sleep like shit after even one drink. And while you may pass out if you've got more than one, that sleep quality is still really bad. You're going to wake up not recovered. The challenge with that sleep quality going is it leaves you more insulin resistant, which we'll talk about a little later when we get to that recover part. But hungrier, more cravings, less impulse control. None of that fits leaner, stronger, healthier energy to survive the day and like putting up the Christmas tree. So really thinking about when I do this, it's about a little bit of planning. So trying to keep alcohol to 2 or 3 nights a week this time of year. And I'll look at stuff. And if there's like a work thing that I don't really care about those people and like I won't waste my wine on that, right? I'm going to do it either if the wine's really good and someone else paying for it, or it's with people I really love, like a fun event or something. So I can kind of have a backup plan going into the ones that I don't want to mindlessly just grab a drink because everybody else is. I will also shout out to a little bit of day drinking if you have the choice, because it will affect your sleep quality a little less. And we got to do what we got to do at this point. And then just really being mindful that, like, you can say no to stuff, right? Just because someone opened a bottle of wine because you had to go for dinner does not mean you have to drink it. In the same way, you don't have to eat something just because someone made it for you. So if it's not going to work for you, just say no. You don't have to give them a reason. Do not negotiate and find something else. Bring bubbly, just something to make it easier
Oh
to.
my gosh, or a mocktail. There are so many great mocktails now.
There are a lot of really nice mocktails out, and if I'm out, I'll often, because I love wine. If I'm not, it's often like a tequila soda or something like that. Like I'll just get a soda water and lime and it looks like I'm drinking. If you're with like colleagues who are really pushy or something, you just don't want to deal with it. There is some non-alcoholic wine. I've not tried it, but a lot of my clients like it. So just play with what feels good, but mindful of that 2 to 3 days a week just to keep that fat oxidation and insulin sensitivity rolling.
I
And Sasha, I
love
think
that
your
one.
next one, oh, the
Yeah,
dark
I know.
tea, it's getting us with this one.
It is and it isn't. I mean, here's the thing. So again, these are the simple things, and it's so funny because these are the things that we let go first when we get so busy and overwhelmed. But this next one is actually just like your general activity is just gonna go down over the holidays. Like I'm raising my hand here too. Like I love a good coach rot session. So like you are just going to be sitting more if you have maybe your alcohol, your planned alcohol. The next day, you're just going to be like hanging out. So you're actually just generally not moving around. Now, I guess if you're shopping, maybe you are a little bit, but yeah, generally you're just not moving around as much. And that actually does add up, right? Like it's a little thing, but it's a little thing that adds up. So really interesting. And I always say this because I think that it's impactful when you think about it. So a 1,000 daily step increase is associated, or that was found to be associated with a 15% like lower risk of death from all causes, which I find really crazy, right? Like 1,000 step increase is going to be associated with that, right? And then every 500 step increase is associated with like a 7% decrease in death due to like cardiovascular disease. So the thing is like steps matter, they don't matter in the way that we think they matter in terms of like our wearables and stuff like that. Like it doesn't have to be 10,000. They've actually shown that the benefits begin at about 2,500 and they could go all the way up to 20,000. So I think the important thing with this is if you have a wearable, which most of us have right now, just kind of clock in and see what your daily step count is right now before the kind of season picks up. And I would actually say, I would challenge you to maybe look at adding 500 to that and then just kind of trying to like maintain that, or you can even play around with that, but like not letting your number fall below that over the season. And that 500, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like that is not even a full dog walk. That is like a sniffy dog walk. That is like Boxing Day, not on your couch, but actually like going to the mall. That is going to like a Christmas market and walking around and taking a look at all of like the vendors. Like it could be any of those things, but it adds up. So just kind of clock what it is now, like take a look and see what your average is, and just try and hold on to that. Or like I said, my challenge to you would be maybe like see if you could add 500 because I think that it could be just a fun challenge over the holidays. Yeah.
I like it. And for those of you who like don't have a dog, so I am required to go outside because Loki is an all-weather animal who finds this weather very pleasant. But like if you don't have a dog and you're not out walking, a lot of my clients will get like a walking pad or something and just like watch The Real Housewives or like Below Deck on it. Like, and that's the only time they get to watch it. And maybe they do like 15 minutes a day or you like listen to your favorite podcast. And so you don't have to be outside if it's really a struggle. Because if I didn't have a dog, there's a lot of days I would not be walking, like for sure. I've got friends who
Yeah.
started mall walking, like in their early 40s. Like these are
Yes.
not old ladies, and they're like, they'll go, they'll get a tea, they'll like have a yap, and it just finds something that feels good
Actually,
for sure.
that's a great point, Michelle, because I have a client as well that does like mall walking, but then I also have somebody the other day who was like for the holiday season, because they don't have a dog, they're like, I'm actually going to find all of like the free lights and like places where you can go and just like do like a walk around and like look at Christmas lights and stuff like that. And that's what they're gonna do. Like it does not have to, or all of like the Christmas markets, like they're just gonna go take a little walk around. I'm like, that's actually a great idea.
Yeah, like find something that works for you. And actually, another client who doesn't mind being outside, but she can only really go during the day, like at work, because she has littles at home. And so we just like put her extra rain jacket and extra shoes and that like in her truck at work. So she can just like have it all there. She's not remembering it every day. And so she goes on a little lunch 15 minutes. Just like find the thing if you hate going outside or it's really gross out. But know what it is before the gross day because
Yeah,
I'm not motivated when it's already ugly. And then
totally.
Our last one is the like third part of our framework, which is recover, right? And I think recovery always gets the like big sparkly stuff on Instagram. Like, are you cold plunging? Are you sauna? Are you taking NAC? Like, and the reality is like there is some evidence for that stuff, but it is the sprinkles on the cupcake. And so recover is how we maintain insulin sensitivity. We keep stress and cortisol low. We get benefits from those workouts that you're getting in. And so the big guy is not sexy. You guys, it's sleep. And you'll know I struggle with sleep. And on the food perspective and body composition, right? Especially that leanness part, weight loss is a goal. You need that ideally 7+ hours, but at least maintaining what your baseline is. Like, this is not the time to go all in on it. Because when you stay up late, like binging bad Hallmark movies, if you're me on a Tuesday night, or because you slept really badly after that glass of wine with dinner, it actually makes you more insulin resistant the next day. So when we think about slower fat loss, less workout gains, more hunger, more cravings, it's kind of immediate. And so we really want to make sure we're not accumulating days like that over the holidays as much as possible so that you can still feel good in your clothes by the end of the year. It doesn't mean you've got to lose 10 pounds, but we don't want to go into January and not be able to like zip up your everyday pants. It's a shit feeling, right? We've all been there. So for me, it's such a big one for us to focus on that I struggle with. Um, and I think there's a few workout things because sleep is not just a food problem as well. So Sash, I think you would agree with
No.
that too.
Yeah, sleep is a workout thing too. I mean, it's obvious, right? Like, and especially when we're thinking about it within that context of like staying like lean, strong, and just actually feeling really energized. So just having a bad sleep, going to the gym tired, you are going to do your best when you're at the gym tired. We've all had those days. And you know what? If you're showing up tired, you are probably, let's just say, like at 60%. And for sure, you are going to give me 100% of that 60. Like I know you will, but also that's 60%.
Yeah.
So if you are showing up because, you know, you had that extra glass of wine, you binge watched those movies, you did all the things, um, and we're doing it for like multiple days in a row, the thing is, like, something is always going to be better than nothing. So I applaud you always for showing up and putting in the work. But if we're thinking about kind of like that long-term goal, we really want to have that intensity in the training, to have maintain that muscle and to build that muscle. And we can have that when we are well rested. And
Mm-hmm.
also, too, one of the other things that we can see is like with multiple nights of like poor sleeps and stuff like that, you know, we can just be a little bit more susceptible to injury. And it's not something to freak out about, but we have all been there. Like we did that row that day and we were like, oh, my back, why did I feel my neck go funny on that? Or, and it takes like a few days and you're like rolling it or you're getting a massage and you're like, oh, like it doesn't have to be like a serious injury per se, but it's like those little tweaks or things that you're like, why is this happening to me? So I think it's really important to remember, like, yeah, like a night here and there after a holiday party, like totally fine. You show up, if that's one of your two sessions, you show up and you give me 100% of that 60. I love that. But just keep in mind if you are always giving me 100% of 60, we're just not getting the most bang for the buck out of that gym session.
For sure. And I think if we're being honest here, Sasha is a lot better at sleep than I am. So I think we'll let her start with Sasha. How do you stay queen out of the two of us at actually getting your minimum more often?
You're hilarious. Yeah, so I feel like number one, I've always been just like I remind myself of Stella. She just puts herself to bed at a certain time. But I've actually found it surprisingly more challenging in the last few months because my schedule has been a lot more variable. So I've actually had to get a few more strategies in place. So the one thing that I actually have found that's been really working well for me, and I'm a planner, so this doesn't necessarily work for everyone, is I know the next day what time I have to get up. So literally that morning when I'm up and I'm kind of looking at my day for the next day, I actually will set an alarm for that evening, which is an hour before my bedtime, because I like to watch a show before I go to bed, just kind of like that's my wind down for the night. So I will set that an hour before my bedtime, and then I will set the bedtime alarm for that hour after. And that's been working really well for me because I do that early on in the day because I know what time I'm going to be getting up the next day because it has been like so variable lately. So again, it's really stupid simple, but that's been what I've been doing. Michelle, what about you? What have you been doing?
So I have to say, I really like that one because so many schedules are more variable in the holidays, right? Like there is more daytime stuff, there's more evening stuff. So that just like, can I take a quick think in the morning is really smart. I struggle with sleep both as a light slash poor sleeper and as someone with ADHD who is a night owl who just like does not want to go to bed on time without a lot of work. So I think for me, the biggie is being able to track that. And that's not, I actually don't like look at my percentage every day, but is Sasha is my accountability partner. But like my goal it currently is 4 to 5 nights at 7+ hours in bed. And so, but if I can take that off visually and know how close I am, it really helps. One, because it's motivating when I do it, which makes me sound like a preschooler, but it works for so many of my clients too. And the other is if I've like missed 2 nights on Monday, Tuesday, I'm like, oh shit, like I've got to reorganize my life a little bit, right? So do I say no to something Sunday morning so I can sleep in a bit, or am I more motivated to get to bed on time on Wednesday? But for those of you who struggle with that focus, with struggling to get to bed on time at night, having a way to kind of visually go, how am I doing, can be really, really game changing because it keeps you honest without feeling punitive, right? If I only went by what my Garmin told me, like I'd feel really bad because it's pretty critical of my sleep in general. It's like aggressively mean to me, but a like softer way is a lot nicer and just feels easier to keep up with. So I'm a big fan of that as one of my very few things that I track every day just to keep me honest, especially this time of year when I would like to be doing fun things at night as a night owl. But and that's
I
all
love
my hobbies.
that.
We're gonna have a go later this week once I've hit my sleep goal.
Yes, once she's hit her sleep goal, she's allowed to have fun.
And Sasha does keep me honest. I have to be careful of when I text her because if the timestamp is past,
She
then I
does.
can't even pretend, right?
Yes.
I sent her a couple of please ignore this.
Which I've just really highlighted the time that it was sent.
She,
Um, Michelle, this is very fun. Do we have another one of these?
we sure do. And so our
What?
do at least one a month. We've actually got a few because we did take a little break over the summer and fall. And so we've got a one that you guys have been asking for that we get so much interest in from our clients. And so make sure you're on our email list. If you're not already, reach out to one of us on Instagram if you don't know how to do that. But on December 11th, our workshop is going to be what really makes or breaks, pun actually intended, bone density after 35 when it comes to food and fitness. So like what actually is going to do something? What can you ignore? So it's going to be just like action packed, really strategic, so that you don't have to stress about it. You can just kind of set it and forget it and know that you're not going to break a foot in 2 years because I've seen it happen in 40s. So yeah, that's our next one. Make sure you're on that list or reach out if you need help getting on.
Yes, and that's going to be December 11th at 12. So it's going to be an afternoon one, which is really nice.
And as
Yeah.
always, if you can't make it, so register still and you will get the live replay or the recorded replay after. So you can still access it and get all the great info. But thank you guys. This was wonderful. Sasha and I love talking about it. So let us know on Instagram if you want to see anything and do make sure you're on that list. You do not miss that bone one. It's going to be killer.
Have a wonderful evening, you guys.